Welcome back to the fourth episode of the Vivacious Embrace Podcast with your host, Carissa. It is such an honor to be back on my own podcast. Thank you for having me, inviting me back, Carissa. It's truly an honor to be, co-creating and collaborating with you. You're such a baddie. Yes, let me acknowledge my own worth and my own value. Anyways, today's topic that I wanted to talk about specifically and go into more detail and dedicate an entire video of me really getting deep and just sharing my perspective, sharing my thoughts on reimagining revolution and what revolution looks like and liberation looks like and what that means, and I guess talking more about internal transformation and identity work when it comes to revolution and being the change that you want to see and building community and all of these things. Because, well, not because, but yeah, that's just today's topic that I wanted to really talk about, because this is something that these ideas that I've been having around revolution, and I'm somebody that values collective liberation and freedom for all people. And the more that I think about that, and the more that I think about my own path and my own journey within my spirituality and my own self love and acceptance journey, and I think about things on a collective scale, and I think about systemic issues and being programmed and being conditioned from our family and our cultures, our religions, and just society at large, and how all of these things play an aspect in how the systems that we live under now, how this all plays a huge part in upholding these systems of oppression, and how we oppress ourselves, and how we, whether we realize it or not, we oppress ourselves. And it's kind of like a full circle thing. And I feel like in order to kind of break out of that circle and that cycle that we collectively continue to repeat, that we continue to find ourselves in time and time again, is because we are still shackled in some way to our own shadows. Um, And honestly, this topic is really fucking juicy for me. It's really goddamn juicy, bitch. I'm honestly super excited. And the reason why I wanted to talk more in depth about this, other than it's just a really juicy thing that I feel like my perspective just needs to be put out there, um, you know. Um, but I don't know, because I just fucking wanted to. That's enough. That's literally enough. I don't need to give y'all a whole fucking voice memo on why it just is what it is. Okay? Clock it. Clock. Cock, bitch. No, this is a little side tangent, but why do I love men? And not in I center them in my life way, just why are men so sexy? But oh my god, we'll get to that in next episode, bitch. Come back for next week's episode and I'll talk about how much I love men. Okay, no, I literally will. I will. Like, anyways, girl, and I'm not even ovulating yet. I'm gonna be ovulating soon. Anyway, that's neither here or there. But it is what it is. This is my podcast. I can talk about whatever it is I want. If I want to be a little silly goofy, I can be a little silly goofy. If I want to act up, I can act up. And who's gonna stop me? Who's gonna check me? Nobody. Nobody. Anyways, okay, so getting back on the topic at hand, the topic at heart, the real meat and potatoes of everything. Okay, so I feel like a visual would be really nice for this, but I'm going to try to explain my perspective and my thought process on this the best I can, the best to my ability. Because there's a lot of nuance when it comes to liberation and revolution, and how that can actually take form and actually happen, because revolution and liberation is so multi-layered and multifaceted and even multidimensional, and so are we as human beings. Like, we are souls having a human experience, and we are multidimensional. And I feel like because we live in a world where the soul is kind of extracted from conversation, from even being considered, it makes sense that like revolution, the topics of revolution have only really consisted or talked about like the material things that you can do. And while yes, the material actions that you can take and being aware of where your money's going towards and boycotting is so fucking important, and it is such an important part of revolutionary action and rebellion and disruption, especially of the status quo, and just like consumerism is really at the heart of a lot of what is going on in the world. And just like we're so programmed to consume and be entitled to such be entitled to these things that we consume, and not even really think twice about how this can affect somebody else, or what you are consuming, and how what you are consuming, the product that you're consuming, has been created at the cost and expense and the exploitation of somebody else. And so I think that, obviously talking about that, which is very much a conversation in revolution, because you have to be awake to these things. You have to be awake to the oppression that happens. You have to be awake to the injustice in the world. But I think when we talk about revolution and dismantling these systems, we really have to go deeper than just like the physical, tangible things that we can do. We really have to look beyond that and not just stop there and think that starting and stopping there is all the work that has to be done. Because, yes, consumerism and capitalism and all of these things definitely uphold these systems, but so do our beliefs, so does our identity, so does our sense of self-worth and self-value, and our relationship with ourselves. And our relationship with ourselves is sometimes a reflection of our relationships externally, or if anything, our relationships with other people are a reflection back to our relationships with ourselves. Because everything is going to be a redirection back to yourself. And a way that I like to give an example, or a way that I've really connected the dots for this, or just taking this as more evidence of that being like something that I agree with, is I watched this video, and I've mentioned this before, but I watched this video of where this guy posted asking a question of, how do you stop caring what other people think about you? And then another man, made a response video to that, being like, you really never know how people actually truly feel about you, what they're thinking about you. I mean, obviously, unless they tell you that directly and they're telling you the truth. But like, when you're assuming, and when you're ahead and you're assuming the worst, that you're assuming that somebody feels the worst about you, is thinking the worst about you, all you're doing is projecting your own beliefs, your own feelings about how you feel about yourself onto somebody else. And you are really the one who's being judgmental by thinking that that person is judging you. And that is a really big example of everything is redirecting you back to you, for you to look at you, for you to see where and why you are projecting the worst onto other people and thinking that that's what they're thinking about you. And reality, you don't know. Like, you might be right, you might be wrong. People might not be fucking thinking about you at all, and you're just thinking about yourself so much, because as humans, we do have a little sprinkle of narcissism in all of us, right? Um, we have that tendency to make it about us. And as a Leo, as a Leo stellium native, as a Leo rising, as a Leo sun, as a Leo Venus, as a Leo Jupiter, I know what it's like to make things about me, okay? Like, I mean, I am the sun. Like, all you bitches were all about me. It's just not my fault. Like, I didn't, I didn't create the solar system, man. I mean, maybe I did. Like, who knows? Like, who knows? We all low-key did, though. Anyways, did we really? That's anyways, where was my train of thought? Where was I going with this? Am I like Loki? What was I thinking about, Spirit? Like, what was I saying, Spirit? Please return my train of thought back to me, love. Oh, okay. Yes. I was talking about how tangible actions are very important in revolution, but also we need to go deeper in the layers. We need to push past and we really need to reconnect with our souls. We really need to reconnect with our truths because it is not an unknown thing to know that we live in systems that have created societies of people that operate from lower frequencies, that are disconnected from ourselves. It is very normalized to be disconnected from yourself, right? And so when I say that revolution requires internal transformation and requires identity work, a lot of our identities, a lot of our beliefs are not ours. A lot of them have been passed down from our parents, our families, our lineages, our cultures, society. Yeah, it all like the whole melting pot of a lot of your beliefs are not even really yours. And so there's that. And a lot of our senses of worth and value and our identity are distorted. Okay, so and I'm going to try my best to talk from a place of experience rather than trying to sound like I know more of what I'm talking about than I actually am. So bear with me. But as I have been doing identity work and reshaping my beliefs, seeing the beliefs, seeing my identity and how shame has been at the core and the root of my identity and yesterday when I was meditating and oh my god, there's something in my eye. An eye booger. I have an eye boogie. um Yesterday when I was meditating and really sitting with myself, I was feeling really uncomfortable and overwhelmed. Okay, and in that uncomfortableness, I wanted to escape my body and I wanted to go into my head, and that's when I started to notice the overthinking and the ruminating thoughts. And so, in that moment when I was really just wanting to not be present with myself and what I was feeling because I was feeling overwhelmed, and honestly, I was on the verge of like going into freeze mode or just like I just felt dysregulated. I didn't feel safe in my body. And in that moment, I realize how talking out loud to myself, especially when I am trying to just tell myself that I'm here, just verbally speaking to myself, like, yes, I understand that the nervous system doesn't really respond to like language, or it has its own language and it's not like English, like how humans communicate, but it's something that fucking helps me, okay? Like, shit. I don't even know why I'm like being defensive, like, nobody's like, anyways, but some talking out loud to myself really helps, especially when I feel overwhelmed, because I feel like it brings my attention to my voice and just like I really focus on that. And when I'm speaking to myself, I'm acknowledging that I feel overwhelmed, that I'm having all of these thoughts, and that I'm trying to escape out of my body. And in those moments, I breathe and I just remind myself to focus on my breath and to focus on my body. And I just acknowledge that the anxiety and the overwhelm is there, and I don't try to change it or to fix it or to make it go away or try to understand it and analyze it. And this takes practice. This is something that, like, I feel like because I have constantly shown up for myself within building the capacity for me to feel and process heavier emotions, and have just been doing this for a while now, um, I feel like if anything, I feel like yesterday I really had a breakthrough within sitting with shame and feeling it and allowing myself to feel safe while feeling it and not trying to run away from it. Like, And because shame is a very overwhelming feeling, it's a very heavy feeling for me. It's a very heavy feeling in my body. And it also, I had a deeper realization how just like how this shame is so connected to my identity. But where I'm going with this is basically like when I was able to just be present with myself and bring my attention and my focus back to the present moment, into my body, and breathing into my body, breathing into the sensation of shame that I located, that I was feeling in my heart, in my chest, and even in my stomach. And I felt a little bit sick, but I also drank something that was like kind of gross. Well, it wasn't gross, but it just wasn't sitting well in my stomach. um, but you have to breathe into those sensations, and you kind of just have to breathe into them and let them expand. And I was also verbalizing to myself and even doing a little bit of EFT tapping and just being like, even though right now this feeling of shame and anxiety in my body feels overwhelming, I still love and accept myself, and I am safe to feel the shame in my body, and I do not have to get rid of it. I do not have to change it. I do like you are safe to be here. You are safe to be present in my body. And I feel like being able to tell that to yourself is such a fucking game changer, because when we feel intense, heavy emotions, it is an instinct for us, especially in the type of culture that we live in, where we demonize our emotions and we view our emotions as burdens and as something that we want to avoid, something that we try to not feel. It is an absolute game changer when you actually are present with yourself enough to actually feel yourself opening up to the feeling of shame or guilt or whatever intense emotion that you normally feel so overwhelmed that it causes you to spiral and to shut down. And like I said, for me, that was a huge breakthrough moment. And relating this back to internal revolution, internal transformation and revolution, and identity work, because we live in a society that is so disconnected from ourselves, disconnected from our souls, our emotions, that within itself is supporting the systems of oppression, the systems of capitalism and white supremacy and colonialism that we live under. They benefit from us being disconnected from ourselves, because you can be more easily like manipulated or polarized or reactive or conform to the status quo in some way, and it's different for everybody. And so when you have like a group and a society of people who operate from beliefs of not feeling good enough, not feeling wanted, not feeling lovable, and they're kind of just like miserable. They don't really love themselves. They don't really know themselves. They kind of lack confidence. They don't speak very highly of themselves. They have a very loud inner critic. And I'm not saying this as if this is wrong or to shame anybody. Like, trust me, a lot of people have been there, are there. A lot of people are working through that. This is not anything to be ashamed of. This has to do with a lot of factors that are out of your control, in terms of just like maybe how you were raised or the conditions that you were raised in the society that you were born into. Um, so there's no shame in feeling shame or having shame, and even not having a confident or healthy sense of self-worth and value. But with that being said, a lot of people, a lot of us operate from survival mode, from lack. We think that the lives that we have are just all that we have and what we're given, and we feel like we don't deserve more, we're not worthy of more, or that we can't achieve more, or if we go after our dreams, they won't be successful. So we kind of just like put them on the back burner, or just like bury them all together. But like those dreams that you have, those desires that you have, are still there. They are still in your heart and in your soul, but they're kind of buried beneath all of the suppressed emotions and shame, um, and just everything that you deny yourself in all the different types of ways. I'm trying to, because there's so much about this topic that I want to express, and I really, I feel like I would really benefit from like sitting down and just like typing this out or writing this out to make it like cohesive and put all the points together and like make it flow better. But honestly, like I'm showing up and just allowing it to connect the way that I can. So I'm just gonna give myself grace for that. But um, okay, this one. I want the light to be there. Okay. But we, as a collective of people, as different societies and communities of people, when a certain amount of people collectively have similar beliefs, like when you look at like colonization and colonialism and how when the colonizers colonized groups of people to believe in the religion that they support, to believe in the way of life, and to essentially demonize and strip people of their roots and their culture and their truth and their authenticity for the sake of supporting somebody else's agenda, furthering that agenda because they think it's the right one. That is, in a lot of ways, this is all about decolonizing your mind and your body and your soul and your spirit. And basically divesting from the status quo and divesting from the beliefs and the things that you've been holding on to that don't serve you so you can make room for what does serve you. And a lot of the time, the things that we are holding on to, the beliefs that we hold on to that don't serve us, are beliefs that are continuing to uphold these systems of oppression. And when we are continuing to uphold these beliefs, even if it's not directly related to anything on a systemic level, or when it comes to like separation and racism or isms and phobias, like sometimes, I mean, obviously that is a part of how these systems operate and how these systems thrive, but also these systems thrive when the majority of the people who are living under these systems and under these governments are living in fear, are living in shame, are, and these feelings are in the driver's seat of are a majority of people's lives because they suppress it, because they are not facing and integrating their shadow. They are not looking at the parts of themselves that they turn away and that they feel like they need to hide and repress in order to be wanted, in order to be loved, in order to be worthy, in order to be good enough, in order to be accepted and by society at large, and to be validated by the status quo and whatever standards of even beauty or standards of being that they are trying to achieve and chase. And especially with these standards and colonization and white supremacy, and how there is this thing that we have all been taught, regardless of what you look like, that like white supremacy is this false idea that the white race is superior, that the white race is more pure, is more genetically superior than the rest. And so when you perpetuate that message into society and you have these people who are white who fall under that standard, obviously white supremacy does not benefit white people to think the way that they think that it does, but that's a whole different conversation. When you have this standard where you have people operating from their ego, when you have this false belief system, when you have this false belief and this false reality that you are living from, that you are better than other people because you look like this or you fall under this beauty standard, and then you have people who don't fall under that beauty standard, who are constantly trying to get into proximity to fall under that beauty standard, to be approved and to be praised by people, to validate you, you are operating from a place of not feeling good enough. And that is just like one example. There are many ways that people don't feel good enough, whether it's because they don't fit a beauty standard, or it's because they are not academically excelling in the way that they might want, or they might have this pressure from their family, and the only way to receive that validation or that love is through academics, because they're literally becoming accustomed and conditioned to accept conditional love and to tolerate conditional love. And so, in a lot of ways, all of these things do coincide with capitalism and these systems, because these systems of oppression really condition us to tolerate mistreatment, conditional love, um, abuse, and narcissism. And when you start to do like shadow work and identity work, and you really start to face how you have been accepting these things in your life and how it coincides with your own self-worth and your own identity and what you believe to be true about yourself, and how you might self-sabotage from a place of feeling like you are not good enough, like you are not worthy, that you are not worthy of being prioritized. Like, everybody's beliefs are unique, but in some way we all collectively like overlap within our beliefs, like the fear of abandonment, or that we're always going to be abandoned, that we're not wanted, that we are not lovable, that we're too much, or whatever the case is. It is unique, and that is where you come in. That's where you play the role in making the collective change, being the change that you want to see, because you have to face your own unique path, your own unique trauma, whatever the fuck has been in your life, because it is unique for everybody. I can't speak for everybody, I can only speak for myself, but I know that like I am not alone or even special enough to have these beliefs, to be the only one who has these beliefs. Like, I live in a collective of people. I live in a world where billions of other people exist. And so, especially like on a small scale, just thinking about America and how like the the things that we're taught in school, especially when it comes to history, is very whitewashed, right? Like, a lot like whitewash history, and being taught that and being taught these certain things. So, because when you really think about it, human beings, our minds, our thoughts, and what we believe in are so fucking powerful. And so when you have a bunch of people believing in this reality, in this idea, it's going to support it. You have all of this people's energy and power supporting and uplifting this belief that has been fed to people. Like, there's like, okay, so there's the people up top who are controlling what is being taught, the education system. And then you have these people that are going to school. You have the kids that are going to school. And then they're being like, this information is funneling down to these schools, into these people's brains. And then we're all growing up believing in what the people who are in charge and in control of the education system want us to believe, what they want us to believe. What people want you to believe might not necessarily be the truth. They're going to tell you what they want to believe because they know that your power, your belief system is very powerful, and they need your power, they need your energy to uphold the agenda that they are trying to push, the narrative that they are trying to push to stay in control. And so this is exactly what internal transformation and identity work does. Because when you are doing identity work, you are calling into question the beliefs that you are holding on to. You are truly connecting back to your body, to your home, to your power source. And that is essential when it comes to revolution, because we all have different roles to play when it comes to revolution. We all have different roles when it comes to building new systems that are more in alignment, not just for us, but for the collective at large, for people who are also looking to be a part of something bigger, who are a part of something bigger and creating something. And so when you get in connection with your truth and you start to feel guided and moved, and you start to feel reconnected with what lights your heart on fire, and you start to divest from what people have told you life is supposed to be like, and you call into question why life has to be that way and who said that and who decided that, and you start to invest in yourself, you start to radically put yourself first unapologetically, that is revolutionary. That is truly revolutionary. And because You really have to dismantle the systems of oppression internally. You really have to dismantle the ways that you oppress yourself. You really have to dismantle the systems of capitalism, colonialism, white supremacy. You have to decolonize your mind internally for that shit to crumble outside of you. And I truly believe that, yes, making change externally is going to help and is something that we need in order for progression to happen. But for true progression to happen, is going to require a dismantling of the beliefs that we are holding on to, that are upholding the realities and the systems that are currently installed now. Because you have to really think about the belief systems that we have, the feelings that we've suppressed are not just ours. A lot of us are carrying generations and generations and lineages, or generations and generations from our lineages, feelings and beliefs. And so when you really start to get into the meat of the and the potatoes of identity work and shadow work, and that shame that you feel, that fear that you feel is not just yours. And it's not just your mom's, it's not just your grandma's. It's your great, 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 great grandparents' fucking pain and all of that shit. And this also segues me into the Black community and our ancestors. And yes, I want to acknowledge that our ancestry does not stop and start at the slave trade. It goes way back to when the first fucking bacteria and the fucking first organisms were fucking planted into Earth, when Earth was just fucking ocean. Okay, and we evolved for billions of fucking years. Our ancestors were the fucking reptiles. Okay, I'm like, trust and believe me, we had that fucking ancient billion-year-old fucking wisdom in us. Trust and believe me, child. But as of right now, I'm gonna talk about a very huge marker that has, I feel like, altered like Black and brown, indigenous, and people of color's DNA. And I mean, all of us, regardless of what race, gender, ethnicity you are, have some type of trauma and are carrying ancestral and even past life pain and hurt that, if you are meant to, in the life that you are currently in, meant to work through that, like, bitch, you're gonna fucking wake up. Like, the universe is gonna make sure, because everything is always happening right on fucking time. But when it comes to like the Black community, I'm just gonna speak on the Black community, okay? When it comes to the Black community and the pain and the suffering and the trauma that our ancestors endured in the time of slavery and segregation and Jim Crow laws, that pain, that trauma that was embedded and imprinted on a spiritual DNA level has been passing down through Black Americans' lineage. Okay, and I'm just specifically going to talk about Black Americans, okay? Like, but this is really just an example. Like, this is like, and I don't know everything, okay? This is just like my perspective. This is like how I feel. This is what I wanted to share. So I'm going to share, but if anybody has any different perspectives or anything they want to add, like, please feel free to. This is an open, like, thing. Um, but like I said, like, this is something that for me feels like, it feels right. It just resonates. But that trauma, that pain, that, like, that I can, like, we all know how terrible that shit is. Just like constantly living in a world where you're abused, where you are looked at as less than, where you are dehumanized, where you are just discriminated against, right? Like, we know what happened. And that wasn't that fucking long ago. And so the effects, the trauma, that pain, that energy that was created from those events are still affecting and very much in the bodies of Black and brown and other people of color today, and are very much playing out in our reality and our lives today and in the driver's seat of our lives today. And these things also still play out in culture, in our cultures, in our society. These things, the butterfly effects of them, and obviously, like, not just on a systemic level, on how oppression, like systemic oppression, is still very much alive and well today, but also the ways that our ancestors were raised in worlds where they were taught to believe that who they were because of their race made them bad, made them evil, made them unlovable, made them feel probably so just like low about themselves, and the beliefs that come with that, believing that, well, people like us, we get treated like this. People like us, we don't have opportunities like this. And I feel like these beliefs are definitely still operating within our psyches and within our DNA and just within our energy now. And this is, like I said, where that identity work and that healing work and that shadow work comes in, because like I said, a lot of these beliefs that we are holding on to are not even ours. They came from our generations before us, from people, from our ancestors that experienced this type of reality, and that's not their fault, and that's not to shame our ancestors. If anything, our ancestors have been waiting for people like you and me to have that freedom, to have that safe space, to heal, to feel, to be and exist as they are. We are the ones who are here to shake shit up and to liberate not just ourselves and the collective and future generations to come, but also our ancestors that did not have that, that did not have the safe space and that freedom to. And excuse me, let me hold on, y'all. I think that's a ladybug. So weird. Okay, hold on. Okay, and so I feel like it is so important that we clear out and transmute that energy that has been, that we collectively have been inherited from our ancestors, from past lives, so we can create a better lives for not just ourselves, not just for our communities, but just for future generations as well. Because this pain that has been inflicted is something that has to be acknowledged. And I feel like we truly give so much credit and control to the governments and the people who run these institutions to be the change that we are looking for, to be that sense of security that we are looking for. But in reality, like, things like reparations are not going to provide the liberation that our communities are really looking for. Like, yes, it would be great that our communities would be reimbursed with all of the things that have been stolen and that have been, like, literally fucking stolen from us, from, like, our ancestors and what they created. Like, that would be fucking great. But I feel like what really would be great, what really would be liberating, not just for us and our ancestors. And yes, I think reparations are also very liberating, because it's like but like within reparations, we're still reinforcing this idea that we have to still seek approval and validation from the white man or the people who are running these institutions and countries to validate that we are worthy and valuable enough to be given back what was already ours, or what was never theirs that they fucking stole. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe not everybody is operating from that energy and that mentality when it comes to reparations, but I feel like that's just another perspective that I look at it. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with wanting reparations, because, like, let's face the facts, let's face the fucking history. Like, we have seen time and time again how colonizers colonize and steal and take things and just have no fucking respect or anything like that for anybody other than what they're investing in their own self-interest. But at the end of the day, like, how long are we going to continue to beg, or not even beg, like, or just like, how long are we going to wait and for things externally to happen and to change in order for us to feel liberated and to feel free? And honestly, I feel like no amount of external actions that these institutions do in terms of reparations is really going to make up for the pain and the trauma that our ancestors endured that we inherited. Like, it is not like that is not going to transmute what we have inherited from our ancestors. It is not going to liberate us in the way that we think so. It really isn't. And like, it might do a little good, it might do some good in terms of like building capital, building material things, and having those material possessions, but like having that have like I think like it is okay to want to thrive in the material world. But like thriving in the material world is not all there is. And this is why we need to include more talk on the soul and the spirit side of revolution and evolution. Not even evolution, not just evolution, but like revolution and all of this shit. Okay. Um, no, I'm thinking about what I want to say next, y'all. But honestly, like the beliefs that we've inherited, and even the beliefs that we just have in our own this life trauma that we have. Hmm. I'm like, I don't know what else I want to say. Like, I feel like that's like, I don't want this to be the video because there's more that I want to add, but I feel like what I've said so far has been really like on point, and I've been able to like articulate what I wanted to say pretty well. So, pat myself on the back for that, period. Um, y'all, this is just like an awkward little silence moment. Because true liberation, I don't know why I just said because, true liberation happens when you take your power back. And I think it's great that a lot of people are realizing that power is also in numbers, but also numbers is important, but I feel like also quality over quantity. Because, like, yes, people can be showing up and disrupting, but also, like, if people still don't really know who they are and are still disconnected from themselves, like, I mean, okay, hold on. This is really uncomfortable. I don't like that. Should I just like do this? Hold on. Yeah. Okay, this works. Okay, this is a vibe. Okay, I fuck with this. Okay, I like this. Oh my god, I hope a boob doesn't pop out. I forgot what I was about to say. um, I mean, I guess. Okay, I remember. I remember. Okay, so like going back to how, excuse me, how like the systems that we live under create people who operate in lower vibrations and lower frequencies and are living under this kind of trance because of being disconnected to yourself. And I want to acknowledge that not everybody is meant to wake up. Not everybody is meant to do the work. Not everybody is meant to do this type of work. Not everybody is meant to be like this deep person who dives deep within themselves and connects with their emotions and all of these things, like, and that's okay. And I feel like that being okay and acknowledging that there's nothing that can be done about that, and those people are not like, you know, NPCs, or like automatically wanting to insult those people, because it's like it is what it is, that's outside of my control. And like, regardless if people are willing to do the work or are meant to do the work, like, people still deserve to be free, people still deserve to love themselves. And if people don't choose that for themselves, like, that's not for me to come in and judge them or put it on a hierarchy, because at the end of the day, hierarchy is a taught thing from colonialism and from capitalism and from white supremacy. And like, even though it can be, oh my god, there's a fucking frog on the window. How the fuck did that get up there? That's actually crazy. Hold on. Oh, look, it's like you can't even see it, but lol. Um, I just, I feel like, no, okay. I just wanted to acknowledge that I'm aware that like not everybody's meant to do the work. And I feel like, wow, I'm somebody who thinks in a big picture way. I'm somebody who likes to zoom out and to look at collectively, and not even just like an American collective. I'm talking about like a global societal human Homo sapien collective. Okay. And I'm thinking about how like everybody on a global collective scale is operating at a similar frequency and a similar belief system that is continuing to contribute to the world that we live in today. And I see how, like, for me, and I'm aware that not everybody probably desires to live in the type of world and the reality that I imagine. And that is also okay too, but like, damn, let a girl dream, okay? Let a fucking girl dream, bitch. Like, you may say I'm a dreamer. Damn, she's a vocalist. Y'all, I'm gonna start singing on here. I watch out for that. But also like, my awareness on being honest with myself that not everybody is probably going to like agree or feel the same way that I do. That's okay. And like, just because that is true, it's also, I can also like still speak about the things that I want to speak about. I can still talk about it even if not everybody's on board or if everybody agrees. But like, the people that are gonna pick up what I'm putting down are gonna come to the front. They're gonna find me, and it's gonna work out. It's fine. But I still wholeheartedly see how, in like the bigger picture of things, how collectively as a society, as Homo sapiens, how we have all been indoctrinated with the same beliefs, and we have all just been conditioned to be comfortable in the way the world works and how the world operates and thrives off of people being complicit and people being asleep and people consuming and being distracted and being disconnected from themselves. And like, I'm somebody who seeks the truth. I'm a truth teller. I'm a revolutionary. And bitch, it's time to shake shit up. It's time to wake shit the fuck up. You know what I mean? And a huge part of waking up, a huge part of that is remembering who the fuck you are. It's remembering your truth. It's being able to know yourself on such a deep, profound level. And not everybody is meant to do that. And a lot of people kind of stop and start with the tangible, with the things that you can see, and they choose to not see what you cannot see. They choose to not shine light on the things that are hidden. Um, and as somebody who has an eighth house Pisces stellium, I can tell you, and like other placements, and just like learning more about that and like what that means for me, like, I am somebody who like is here to do that work, to do that ancestral work, to work through just the lessons that I'm meant to work through in this lifetime, and to heal and to work on my identity, to work on my self-concept, to um just be radically and authentically myself. And as somebody who knows what it's like and has been living within the belief systems of not loving myself and not feeling like I'm enough, not feeling lovable, not feeling wanted, and who is working and becoming into and letting go of that, but becoming into the new beliefs that I am trying to cultivate internally, because not even for necessarily what I can get, but just because I really, really, really deeply desire having a healthy relationship with myself. I deeply, deeply desire having a healthy confidence and having a healthy sense of worth and value. And like, I want that so badly because my soul wants that. Like, my soul is meant to experience that. I'm meant to live that. That is like, when people fucking tell you that when you deeply want and desire something, it is because it is meant for you, and I am meant to live the type of life in reality where I am very sure of myself and I love and accept myself, and I genuinely see and feel that shift within every time I show up, and I'm consistent within, just loving and nurturing myself and being present with myself and showing up and just creating and seeing how much I'm growing and changing. And I'm also seeing how, like, this type of work, this type of, shedding and death and rebirth process, while it is something that is very intense and is too much for people, and I understand that not everybody is meant to be on this type of path and journey, and that is okay, but it's not going to stop me from sharing how beautiful and how important this is, not even just for like our own liberation, but collectively, if we want to shift towards a world that where we don't have like oppressive governments or governments that are trying to fucking control everything and control everybody and colonizing everybody and literally in real fucking time like real fucking genocide. Like, it's just crazy. And people say that there's nothing that we can do about it, and while you might not be able to single-handedly in person stop a genocide happening, you might not be able to single-handedly tell the president, no, don't fucking do that, or I'll unalive you. Like, literally. But like, there is still so much that can be done, and I think that it is a very clear it is clear as day when people think that they're that just because they can't physically do anything, then there's nothing that can be done, because that is a telltale sign that people are not considering the soul and the spiritual aspects of revolution and change, and how you can contribute to that, what puzzle piece you have to the bigger picture. Because I promise you, you know, if you can't protest, or if you can only boycott, or if there's only certain things in that level, like, there's always layers, and you really just have to have the courage enough to dive deeper in those layers, because those layers involve you and your internal world and the shit that you have been suppressing and not been willing to face internally, because you have to face it. You literally have to face it. Like, internal revolution and identity work requires you to face the things that you are not willing to face. It requires you to open yourself up to yourself and to and allow yourself to be cracked open by the universe, so you can let go and make space for it is that what you truly desire. Because when you are living a life that you desire, that within itself raises the vibration of the collective. It raises the vibration on earth. The more that people awaken and connect to their truths and to themselves and are embodying that, you are raising the vibration, first of all, because you are magnetic, but you are also showing other people that it is possible and it is safe for them to be themselves. And now, obviously, people are going to respond to your authenticity the way that they please, and that has nothing to do with you. But when you are able to be a light and be comfortable in your light and work unapologetically, you ignite the light that exists within other people, that has always existed within other people, and you inspire other people. You inspire other people to show up and to be themselves and to be authentic. And it creates a butterfly effect that we might not see, because even now, like, we are so conditioned for instant gratification, for instant results, to see things, to believe it. But we have to trust in the things that we don't see. We have to trust in the fact that our authenticity and our potency and our fullness have a positive ripple effect on somebody that we will probably never see again, that we will probably never see the result of. And damn, that was shit. quote quote that, child. Damn, I'm speaking my shit. It's true. It's true, child. Um, and this is why I'm somebody else. I feel like being like a motivational speaker is something that also brings me like is something that ignites me, because like the things that I'm talking about now, I just like this is something that has I've recently been like discovered that it is something that I'm passionate about, something that I care about. I've always been somebody who cared about liberation and justice and fairness. But I feel like this opens like a whole new world for me, because it's something that is deeper, and it's something that requires me to talk about my experiences and to share that and what that feels and looks like for me and my perspective. And it just brings a whole new level of just like rawness into what I talk about, because like there is a lot of genuine heartfelt passion behind what I talk about, just and also a part of that is because I care. It's because I fucking care about people. I care about the collective. I care about the world. And it's just like when you see something, when you see, and I'm not saying like what I'm saying is the answer and the cure for everybody in the world, but I'm saying like a lot of like it's just something that is an option. And a lot of people I feel like don't really see these options, because do you really have options if you don't even see other options, or if you don't believe there are options, you know what I mean? And like so I feel like, and I'm also just very passionate about this because I don't even know why I'm explaining it, but just like it's something that I see needs to be talked about more, and it's something that I genuinely feel like is needed in this world. And it's not even like, oh, I'm saying people need to heal or do identity work because these people need to be different. Healing and doing identity work isn't about being different, it's about being yourself comfortably. It's about you letting go of the facade and the bullshit so you can be yourself. That's all it is. Like it's not, oh, I need to fix this and get rid of this. Like if like I really for a long time in my journey was operating from that place of constantly trying to fix myself, constantly feeling and believing that I need to heal more aspects of myself, or literally like healing was like a checklist for me. Like healing, I was healing from a place of shame. I was motivated to heal from a place of shame. But I feel like now in my journey, I've gotten to this point where I'm truly starting to accept myself in all of my seasons and all of my feelings, and not trying to change and fix myself. I truly feel like for the first time in my journey, I am actually radically loving and accepting myself and allowing myself to actually shine my light, even when I still have shadows, even when I'm still in the process of healing. And that is very fucking powerful to me, because I feel like when I really look back and reflect on my journey, I really see how like yes, I was healing and making progress, but a lot of the progress that I was making was very shame and guilt motivated. It was very much like, and at that time, and a lot of those times too, I was also healing because I was trying to bring somebody back into my life that I thought was my twin flame. I was healing because I felt like, oh, well, if I healed, if I fixed myself, then this person would be my reward. Then my divine counterpart would be my reward. And that's a whole different conversation too that I won't get into, but um like this journey for me has truly cracked me open and has been an initiation and for me to love and accept myself fully and radically. And that within itself, especially as a Black woman in this world, is very revolutionary, is very like, and for me to talk about this and to hopefully ignite this within other people to help other people is something that I take very seriously. And I also take this very seriously because it's going back to liberating myself. I'm also liberating my ancestors. I'm liberating the people that came before me. I'm liberating my mom and my grandma and my grandma on both sides of my family that didn't have that safe space or maybe the courage to do what I'm doing or to be themselves and to reject anything and everybody else that told them that who they were was not okay or what they wanted to do was just unrealistic. Okay, like, and I take that very seriously, and I say that with so much love. And honestly, like, saying that makes me emotional because I when I really think about it, I think about the things that my family or like just past family members have possibly endured, and I think about the heaviness of the feelings that I felt, and that the feelings that I'm feeling are the same feelings that other women in my family have felt. And that's really heavy, and I take that to heart, and I take that very like I don't play. I'm just gonna be like, I just don't fucking play. I'm not playing when it comes to shit like this. I don't fucking play. I'm not coming here to play. I'm not. I'm really not. And and I even saying this like I don't and I'm saying when I say these things too, it's like I'm not saying this from a place of thinking that I'm perfect either, because I'm not. Like, I'm still comfortable in what I consume sometimes. I still consume like, bitch, yes, this is the world that we fucking live in. Like, there is truly no escaping capitalism as of right now, but there is no escaping the systems. But we have to realize and understand that we are truly at the beginning of change. And there is so much potential for us to break the cycles that have kept society, the human race, in shackles for centuries. We, like, the more people are waking up and coming home to their truth and stepping into their authenticity, like, we have so much potential and power to make the change that we fucking want. But we have to look beyond the surface level and face our souls and realize what cycles are we contributing to, not just in our own lives, but also collectively on a systemic level. What cycles are we continuing to engage with, not just within our own fucking lives, but societally, on a societal, collective, systemic fucking level? Because one thing about spirituality that I cannot fucking stand, or is mostly new age spirituality, is this individualistic healing spirituality. Okay, it's not just about fucking, like, it's not just about fucking. It's not. No, like, yes, we need to focus on ourselves and our internal world, but it is not just about us. We're not the only ones living in this world. We are not, our realities are not the only fucking realities happening, and our choices do have effects on other people. What we buy have effects on other fucking people. What cycles collectively, societally, are we contributing to that are keeping these cycles of oppression in play? Because we can talk about healing all we fucking want to, but bitch, if you're going to still get Starbucks, I don't want to hear it. I don't. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. I don't. Yes, we can talk about what cycles are you what cycles are we contributing collectively that are continuing to create the cycles of oppression and exploitation. When are we going to break these cycles collectively? When are we going to focus less on just ourselves and collective? When? I'm waiting. Actually, I'm not waiting. I'm not waiting, bitch. I'm gonna do it myself. Well, not just myself, like, 'cause, like I said, collective, but like, bitch, y'all can catch up. Let me stop. No, actually, no. Let me keep going, bitch. But actually, it's the thing. The gag is about making these videos. I love them. I love that I have like, I'm just sitting here just talking my ass off. Like, it's my favorite thing to do. Um, but like when I'm done with the video, and then I'll like have so many other things that I want to say all of a sudden. And like, it's not that I can't add it in, but I'm just like, I rather not. Like, y'all can just catch me on TikTok. Um, but yeah, I just like I'll think of more things that I want to add to whatever I was talking about. And I'm just like, damn, and this shit that I want to add to was like really fucking good. Like, damn, I wish I thought of this before. But um yeah, I'm also considering possibly like starting to teach how to do like identity work and like things upon like liberation and revolution and like identity work and all of these things. Like I have so many ideas and so many concepts that I just really want to get organized and start to really like make happen, because I talk about revolution and internal transformation, and saying how like I feel like important it is, but also like I feel like yes, it is important, but also like I feel like I would benefit and other people would benefit if I provided like some sort of guidance in terms of how to do that, in terms of how to actually get that started. Because I feel like, you know how parents constantly have expectations and demand and project these expectations on you but offer no guidance? I feel like that's kind of like what I'm doing, and not in a way where I'm like commanding all of these things from people. I'm just like simply expressing my perspective and like what I feel like I've learned from my own journey, and just like from my own passions and the things that I think about and the things that I care about. But yeah, I guess I'm gonna end the video here. I'm really, if you like this video, if you have any comments or any thoughts or anything that you want to contribute to this conversation, please feel free to comment. Like, I would love to see what you guys have to say. I'm definitely here to engage. Like the video, subscribe, and I also have links to my other socials like my Instagram and my TikTok down in my bio in my link tree. And if you have any like topics or anything that you want me to talk about specifically, also feel free to leave that down below. If you've gotten this far in the video, if you have, I literally love you so much. Yeah, but thank you for watching this podcast episode for Vivacious Embrace, and I will see you next, or I will talk to you next episode. Goodbye. Damn.